From the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., this is Rewind. John Hendricks, the founder of the Discovery Channel, talked with network anchor Paula Zahn about his new book.
I mean, there's a reason for the book title. It's called A Curious Discovery. So I'm convinced that most entrepreneurial ventures start with some spark of curiosity that someone has at some point in their life that kind of sets them out on this journey.
At a newsmaker event, Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood, leaving that office after 4.5 years, talked about the country's neglected transportation infrastructure.
There's no debate, no dispute about what America needs. We have 50, 60, 70-year-old transit systems all over the country. We have a president with a vision for high-speed rail. We have America as what I call one big pothole right now.
In anticipation of President Obama's trip to Africa, lobbyists for the AIDS Healthcare Foundation urged the president to continue his administration's support for PEPFAR, the U.S. government-run global program for helping those with HIV/AIDS and improving the health of women and children.
This month there will be the 1 millionth baby born HIV-free due to treatment. Because of treatment, many countries are on a path again to eliminate HIV infections. Our hope is that this trip could be a moment for the president to see firsthand how effective this program is and what needs to be done to make it even better.
Other groups urged President Obama to limit military intervention in Africa and find other ways to help.
We advocate more support and resources for conflict resolution and negotiation in Africa in order to develop long-term peace based on the often difficult agreements among different legitimate stakeholders.
We strongly urge the president to listen to the voices of smallholder farming communities to hear what it is that they want for their own development.
Honoring the 50th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s March on Washington and I Have a Dream speech, his son called for continuing the fight for equal rights for all.
I'm sad to say that we have not achieved that dream. And so while some will see this as just a commemoration, it is truly a continuation of being in the struggle, of organizing communities around this nation. It is our responsibility to challenge this nation.
At a newsmaker event, the chief of operations of the Asian Development Bank evaluated the economic future of Myanmar, also known as Burma.
If the government continues on the reform path it's on, if they deepen and broaden the reforms that they have begun, that you could have the economy of Myanmar tripling by 2030.
In a panel discussion, members of the Newspaper Guild questioned whether journalism will be affected by the purchase of major Tribune newspapers, such as the Chicago Tribune and the Baltimore Sun, by the Koch brothers, who are major contributors to conservative causes and candidates.
Daily newspapers are bought. They are not made better. They are ransacked. Journalism is pushed out. You end up often with a lot of opinion.
Kochs very explicitly have a mission to influence public policy, as John was saying. That's what they want to do. That's what they do through Americans for Prosperity. That's what they do through their think tanks, the Cato Institute in particular. That's what they do with their contributions to campaigns and their expenditures.
As the Senate passed an immigration overhaul bill, an Illinois congressman attended a screening of the documentary Harvest of Empire about U.S. policies toward Latin American immigration.
I spend the majority of my time every day trying to convince my colleagues that we should do so to reform, that we should reform our immigration system. I try to communicate about what is at stake, who is being harmed by our current broken immigration system, and what we need to do about it as legislation.
From the National Press Club, where news happens, this is Rewind. I'm Steve Taylor.